Alright, we're recording. We got the Bialetti Venus stainless steel 6-cup moka pot coffee beans. These are the best ones I found. Coffee bean container, air escape. Not a vacuum, but it's airtight. This is a daily user. The unit comes equipped with its own measuring cup. Product goes in here, level, not tamped or compacted. Ideally, the particle's bigger than the mesh openings in the bottom of the funnel. I set it in here. How much coffee beans do you need? You need enough to fill this. Since these aren't ground, you really can't compact them. But you do want it full level with beans. Take something flat, flatten it out. You can see the old beans here. Too many. A little too many. Take a few out. Not really. It's really close. You can kind of look across the top of that and see, pretty level on the beans. Probably could, seriously remove one bean. And I think that's really good. You don't want to overfill it. Hear that? One bean. So we got a few degrees of bean freedom in the vessel. We'll grind them. Of course, your coffee bean grinder needs to be empty. So this is where it gets good. We have our ground coffee beans. It's a pretty coarse grind. You probably can't see in there very good. Doesn't matter. They need to be bigger than the holes in the bottom of this. See that static in there? That's perfectly okay. Those are the small particles that are going to fall through that anyway. You don't really want them in there. But all this started out in here. All this needs to go back in here. We'll pour it in. We're not going to compact it. We're just going to settle it out a little bit. These bigger ones that just fell out, I will put back in just because they're big. The dust, I will not worry about. So I'm going to settle this down a little bit. Make room for the rest of it. Remember, I am not compacting it. I'm just settling it, getting the air out of it. Working off some of that static that's holding some of that in there. What you're going to see here is fine stuff on the paper that bounced out with the static. You have some fine stuff in the chamber. I'm not going to use that because it's going to fall out anyway. So I lost a few there. It's no great loss. Settle this down. Now this is really the important part. I'm going to take this flat surface and I'm going to, you can hear this. It's not compacted. It's perfectly loose. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake this a little while and get rid of more fines. So rotate it, shake it, rotate it, shake it. Shake it side to side. Of course, the funnel has to be dry inside. Very important to wash and dry the moka pot after every use. Shortly after every use. Don't let it sit all afternoon. Get back to it later. It's especially important with the aluminum ones. These stainless steel ones are not such a big problem, but those aluminum ones are. They need to be cleaned immediately and dried. The stainless steel ones are much harder to get open though, because they're round and smooth, than the octagonal aluminum ones. So you can see, I had a lot of fine stuff already come out because of the static in the chamber. Previously, I had spritzed this with water to keep the dust down. That's the wrong thing to do. That static's your friend. You don't want that fine crap in there. So we'll shake this. You can hear it. Now you want it to be just a little bit, you know, it's loose, it's not compacted, it's just settled, the air's out of it. A lot of the fines are out of it. Now you just have to get it level. Oftentimes, easier said than done. That's pretty level. So there it is, it's level. We'll put it back in this shot glass to hold it. So we've got a little pile of stuff that we don't want in there in the first place. I'd say it's about half to 1 teaspoonful of stuff that came out. I'm tired of shaking it, so we'll move on. Now we want to fill the chamber up to about the bottom of this with water. No need to weigh it. No need to pre-measure it. Keep in mind, it will not all come out. Why is that? It's because the length of that funnel is not touching the bottom of this vessel. Therefore, once the water leaves the bottom of the funnel, the pressure of the steam can't push it up there. And that's when you get that sputtering at the end. You really do want to minimize that sputtering though and go to low heat about halfway through the brew. Real low heat. But you don't want it to stop and fall out. So, you know. But less heat is better. Don't be in a hurry. If you're in a hurry, this is the wrong method for you in the first place. Now, when you place this into the chamber here, put a fingernail underneath that edge. Set it in there nice and easy. You spend all that time leveling it. If you plop it in there, it's going to move. Remember, it's not compacted. It's just loosely sitting there. There's just no air in it. That's why it's settled down a little bit. It's good. It makes a nice even bed of material for that water to push through and uniformly saturate and push out. The threads of this start with the handle with the pressure relief valve. So set it on there, almost 2 turns until it's tight, just like that. That's it, we're ready to go. Medium heat. When it starts flowing, drop her down to halfway to low. When it's maybe half an inch from done, drop her all the way to low and let it ride. One last step. The way this is formed, inside this chamber, there's a pocket of space from here to here. It has a false bottom where the filter is. You can see it right down along this edge. I fill that with water just so it doesn't get super hot there. Just up to the bottom. Just up to the bottom where the stem comes out. No higher. And then we cook. And that's really it. So the important thing is to shake that fine stuff out. It's better to be a little coarse and a little fine. You don't want that fine stuff in there. If it falls through those holes in the funnel, it's too fine. So the static's your friend. Let it pull them fines out. The lighter stuff's going to stick harder. Won't come out of the vessel if you have a grinder. This is a burr grinder, cheap Amazon, Saboli brand, 50 bucks. It's noisy as hell. I put a bunch of coats over it in the morning if everybody's still asleep when I run it to muffle it. But it really doesn't matter. You find your grind, shake the tar out of it, level that bed out, and you're good to go. And it's been like super consistent every single day that I've done this. And I mean every single day for 2 months. Same cup of coffee. Better than any coffee you're gonna buy. So give it a whirl. You know, it's worth the time. If you have one of these, you're not worried about time. And this stuff, the bomb, Essse, Masini. I happen to get this from someplace in the Bronx. They're super nice. There, Cerini Coffee and Gifts. They have it all. Enjoy.